Welcome back to QDads guys, and yes, it's me, Ben, keeping you going with our Foundation rewatch. And today, yes, we are on episode 5, a much slower yet informative episode. But of course, we do get an explosive result towards the end of it. So before we dive into this, I do want to just say that this Saturday we are dropping our Journey of the Cleons video, taking a small break from the rewatch for the next few days. And of course, this will be everything that you need to know about the Cleons before tuning in to season 3. As always, hit that subscribe button because it does help the channel to grow and you get to keep up to date with everything sci-fi as well as Foundation. So episode 5 opens up with a flashback into Gale's life on her home planet Synax. And in this episode, my main focus was on her father, who had me both loving and hating him at the same time. A great show of true parental figure, which I will discuss a little bit deeper in a moment. Now, as an acolyte of the Seers Church, Gale is then sent to investigate some of the reports of unauthorised activity in this condemned floating university. Now there, she actually discovers her former mentor, Instructor Sorn, who is salvaging forbidden books. Now, despite her pleas, Sorn is arrested. But before that, he does attempt to give Gale the Book of Folding, which of course was instrumental in her position within the Foundation. So this all leads to Instructor Sorn being executed in a pretty brutal method of tying rocks and books to his feet before plunging him into the ocean. Now, it was interesting here that Sorn mentions about the history of Synax and the fact that this world used to be something better before, and this was before they mined the volcanic vents which led to the melting of the polar ice caps, meaning that Synax could have once been a planet similar to that of Earth. Now, driven by this thirst for understanding, Gale secretly studies advanced mathematics and solves the Abraxas equation after retrieving the Book of Folding from the ocean, and of course, Sorn's lifeless body. Now, she then transmits her findings to Trantor, catching the attention of none other than Harry Seldon, and sets her on a path that leads her to then ultimately leave Synax. But I must admit here that the folks of Synax have been talking about someone entering a math competition on Trantor, but yet the ability to send messages are forbidden and reserved for those that are in the church. Then if that is the case, how did Gale find out about the competition? So for me, making an educated guess, it must be that this competition came to light probably from Instructor Sorn and the university before it was shut down. And this is the presumption that the university was recently shut down and Sorn was just trying to gather things before they arrested him, not the fact that this has been going on for months. So before moving away from Synax, I just want to talk a moment about that father figure that I mentioned at the start, because for me there was a lot of scenes throughout this episode where Gale's father ultimately rejected her, and at one point he even said that he'd rather have his daughter die than live on Trantor. Now, that was quite a bold and harsh statement to make. He was obviously utterly disgusted when she took out her prayer beads or prayer stones, I can't remember the name. But then in the final moment, which of course we saw in the very first episode, actually the moment where he hugs Gale before she does go is that touching moment that he hates what she's done and where she's going, but naturally he still does love his daughter and will allow her to go because he wants to do anything for her, whether it is right or wrong in that moment. And that is true parenting right there, and I respect the series for highlighting those kind of emotions throughout this episode. So moving forward to the present, Gale awakens from 34 years of cryosleep aboard the automated starship Raven. Now here she discovers that Raish, yes, was executed for Harry Seldon's murder, and that she is considered now an accomplice. So as she navigates this ship, and after multiple amounts of rejection of not being authorised, she learns that this ship is actually en route to Helicon, Harry's homeworld, which is hidden behind a dark star. Now, I would try and explain some of the math that she did to understand the direction of where the ship was heading, but to put it simple, her math is too great for my simple mind. But I appreciated the effort that she went to. So during her exploration, she encounters a wounded yet seemingly alive Harry, hinting further complexities in his plan. Now, this is what I'm going to refer to as Harry 2.0, purely because we know that he isn't actually Harry, but a digital AI or an enhanced version designed to keep Gale on track, and of course, the Foundation. But meanwhile, before we do end, back on Terminus, the Imperial ship Aegis, commanded by Commander Dorwin, arrives and detects the presence of the Anacreon forces. Now, Dorwin demands to speak to the captive Grand Huntress Farah, who is brought to the Foundation Tower. Now, once inside, Farah disables the city's defensive fence by taking out her own eye and using it as some kind of EMP, which I thought was great, and it also then reveals her true intent, which is to destroy the Foundation in retaliation for the Empire's past, which again, we already knew at this point. The Anacreon soldiers then launch an assault on the city, and their flak cannon brings down Commander Dorwin's ship with a great explosive scene, escalating the conflict even more. And then that was kind of it for episode 5. So interestingly, a couple of details here though. Now, at some point in the episode, it was mentioned about Harry's death, and this is when Gale was kind of reliving the past 34 years. And it was mentioned that Harry died on the 8th of the 8th, 12,068. Now, according to some sources, mentioning no names, Google, but August the 8th is considered a powerful date for manifesting and creating change in your life. And in numerology, the number 8 is associated with luck and wealth and good energy. And then to top that even more, the double 8s, the 8th of the 8th, are believed to enhance the personal power and materialise dreams. Now, not sure if that has any relation whatsoever, but to give it a bit of relation, this could actually indicate that whole mentalic and dreamlike approach that we have throughout the series with some of our characters like Gale and Sal. And this is throughout both seasons, with the visions and the dreams being key, which we'll touch on in the next couple episodes with Day as he does that spiral walk. And then one of the other interesting details that I noticed about this episode, and what I personally enjoyed, was if you look back on Terminus, I noticed that when Sal was fighting the Huntress, she actually fell and broke a sundial, and then used its dial as a weapon to stab Farah, which a couple of episodes ago, Sal was actually debating with her parents about which suggested clock they were going to go for, and the options were a water clock and then a sundial. So it's nice here that actually if her parents had listened to her and gone for the water clock, she may not be alive at this point now, because it was only through choosing the water clock and the parents not listening and going for the sundial that was then in that location to use. But overall, guys, it was a nice episode. Like I say, I enjoyed the whole emotional journey we were on Synax with Gale. Then the reality of her being actually 34 years in the future, and this is kind of the first episode where we realised that, you know, Sal is still in the past on Terminus and Gale's journey is now ahead, but yet they're still to meet at some point. And then of course we still always have the complexities of the Empire that just dwindle in the background. But this episode was great, I enjoyed it, a lot more information, and we are officially at the halfway point of our season 1 rewatch. I have planned in obviously all these episodes, so fingers crossed, as long as I stick to plan, you should have all rewatches complete, season 2 included, before season 3 starts. And then we just get down to business and dive deep into season 3. So as always, guys, it's not about me, it's about you guys at home. Let me know your thoughts. What did you enjoy most about this episode? Have I brought up any memories from when you first watched it? And of course, is there anything that I've pointed out or you spotted in this episode that can connect into season 3? So as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit us in the comments and look out for our video on Saturday, which will be the journey of the Cleons. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time with something new.
Does it hurt any less? Your brother, your family?
You know what?